Hey everyone, what's going on? And today we are playing Onitama again. And this time we are playing with the Way of the Wind expansion with our little ferret or otter friend.
Isn't he cute?
Yes,
He's supposed to be like some sort of like nondescript little wind creature, but I think he looks like a little ferret or a little otter.
So he goes in the center.
He does go in the center. So gameplay is very similar to like regular Onitama. So it's a very simple game. Essentially, you are trying to either capture your opponent's master or move your master into your opponent's throne space. Either one of those will win you the game. On your turn, you are going to select one of your two cards and you're going to move a pawn in that direction. So pawn is, well, any of your pieces in that direction. So your piece is represented by the black space here. The colored spaces represent where it can go. If it were to land on a enemy piece, it would capture that piece. And if you manage to capture your opponent's master, you win the game. Or if you are able to get your master on your opponent's throne, you win the game. So that's what happens. On your turn, you choose one of your two cards, you move one of your pieces in the way indicated by the card, then you slide the card to your neighbor. They do the same thing. They use one of their two cards, then they slide one of their cards and they pick up the card that you gave them. You get that card back. So it's very simple mechanically. Strategically, it's a little bit more complex. And we're adding a little bit more complexity in this game as well because we are playing with the Way of the Wind expansion, which is this piece right here, and some new cards. And this is a neutral piece which both players can control using special cards. So, or even the regular base game cards. So on your turn, you can choose to either use a regular card to move one of your normal pieces, or you can use one of these cards to move the Way of the Wind piece, this guy right here. So you can use the regular movement cards to move that piece around, or you can use new special cards which have two actions that you perform, if possible. So you do each of these as long as you can do both. If there's one that you can't do, you can just ignore it. So this one says, move your student or master as shown above, then move the wind spirit as shown below. So I could move my student or master one space up and to the right, or I could move my student or master one space directly behind. Then I would move the wind token one space directly behind or to any one of the three spaces directly in front. If the wind spirit encounters any piece, it's simply
any student.
Any student, thank you. It simply swaps places with that. So if something were to happen to move this guy into this space right here, this wouldn't be knocked off the board. It would be moved into the space where the Way of the Wind piece had started. And you can use this to move your opponent's pieces. So you can potentially manipulate your opponent's pieces to get them into positions where then you can capture them. So yeah, I've never played with it before. Nick has. I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it's going to increase the complexity a little bit, but I think it's going to really be a very interesting way to play the game. So yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, awesome. So this game really doesn't have a mid-game, so we'll get back to when there is a winner and a loser of Onitama. But first, I think Sarah has some flavor text for us.
There is a little bit of flavor text in the rules for the expansion, so we'll read that and then we'll get started. Once again, rival schools have come to Onitama to see who has the dominant art. But something is different this time. Their activity has attracted the attention of a wind spirit. This indomitable force will interfere with the students, but it may on occasion grant an unseen benefit as well. Unlike this creature who just screams and interrupts things. I guess the unseen benefit is that he snuggles, but only when I'm asleep.
And when he wants to. Alright, well, we'll get back to you guys in a little bit, and also after we snuggle this little sucker. Alright, see you guys in a sec. Toodles. There was an incident on the battlegrounds. A student said he couldn't take it anymore and jumped into action. And then there was a cat. And another student fell.
A disrespectful thing.
And the spirit was very tricky to deal
They
with.
basically shouldn't even turned off the camera because, like, my defeat happened pretty much immediately and kind of by my own hand too.
Because we had to give it all to the giraffe.
Yeah.
The giraffe technique came with its long neck and just whack.
Yep. I thought I was gonna do something clever. Never a good place to start from. And I did some Kung Fu Panda stuff, and I moved using the way of the spirit, and then promptly died. So yeah.
Spirit was like, hey man, I can just move over here closer to this base, because then that happened. And it was like, ooh.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Yep. So that's kind of the thing with this game. It can go over really fast, or it
You're
can...
playing with me.
No. I've done it to myself multiple times where someone's demoing it and I'm like, I want to be smart and I want to feel like I can go really quick. And then they're like, by the way, you lose. I'm like, wait, what? Oh.
So Nick defeated me with the giraffe. The flavor text on this card says, project your power, vaulting at opponents who believe themselves safely out of range. That was me.
Wow.
Aggression is subservient to surprise.
The wisdom of the Onitama cards.
So yeah, very quick, not painless, but you know.
But yeah, but with the spirit in the game, and plus you have to add the spirit of the winds cards. This game gets very tricky because there was a couple times we were like, oh well, I want to move your master here, but you can't.
Yeah, you can only move.
You can only affect the students
with the Way of the Wind token, and I think honestly that might have been my fatal flaw or my fatal mistake, was because I was anticipating that I could move my master with the Way of the Wind, and then I would be in a position on the next turn where I could attack. With my master, I could attack Nick's master, and then I would have been able to win the game. But because I couldn't actually move my master with the Way of the Wind, I ended up having to like reverse that, and then I just quickly did something else when I should have really thought about what else I was going to do instead of like rushing through. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is also one of those games that I'm just particularly like.
Yeah,
like
of the
good
two
at.
of us, Nick is much better at this sort of thing than I am. If
But-
we play chess, interestingly enough, if Nick can think about his moves for as long as he would like, he will beat me every time. If we impose a timer, I will beat him every time. So Nick definitely thinks, I think more deeply and more strategically than I do, but I think faster on my feet. And I think in this game, that's a distinct disadvantage. You want to be able to think more deeply, more long-term, more strategically, and thinking quickly on your feet doesn't help as much.
I mean, in the first, without the Way of the Wind expansion, you could kind of do that like pretty quickly because the cards were not terribly like crazy. But with this, it's definitely kind of like, you know, the field is kind of congested, and now you've got to be careful that, you know, students just don't come flying over because the wind spirit brought them over, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I got to deal with this wind spirit that just came flying, or the student that came flying out of nowhere because this wind spirit bumped him over.
Definitely change the board state very quickly.
Yeah, so I feel like with the expansion, it can definitely speed up the game and speed up the process.
Well, like I said,
yeah.
we probably shouldn't have even turned off the camera because it was seriously about a 4-minute game, probably, maybe less.
Yeah, but like the game, there are games that I can never beat you at, like Killer Bunnies.
Yeah, but that's completely based on chance.
Yeah, but how come chance is always against me in that game? Always.
I don't know, because I do always beat you in that game. And they're like, it's seriously, you can mathematically sort of pad your, you know, your potential to win But
you had
it's-
two
it's
cards
just-
at
it's
one
just
time, and I
straight
had like
chance.
all the other
That's
cards,
true.
and you still won. And I was just like,
true.
I'm never. The fate is against me of ever winning Killer Bunnies. But yes. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for probably this little bit of a shorter vlog. But hey,
Yeah, my fault entirely. Sorry.
No,
not
hey.
a worthy opponent for this one, I
what?
guess.
No, that's not it. It just happens sometimes. Believe me, there's times I've done it myself, but we just didn't get it on camera. I have not shown all my stumbling blocks that I've done thus far.
I'm gonna go console myself with some ice cream.
Ice cream!
Cream. And
Perfect
then-
gamer treat.
Yes. And then I think I would like to go to bed.
Yes. All right, well, everybody, toodles. Talk to you later.